please. Professor Kene? Yeah, Professor Kene.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you, yes.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. You are all welcome to this session of Blue Bat Television, where we rub minds for a better and sustainable veterinary profession. So the giant we have in our midst today is Professor Michael Asuzu. But before I hand over to him, let me just give you a little information on the caliber of person that we have that will be talking to us today. Professor Michael Asuzu is a professor of disciplinary public health and community medicine. He retired in 2020 from College of Medicine, University of Ibadan, where he was a consultant clinical and population epidemiologist, community and occupational physician. He is currently a consultant physician at the University of Medical Sciences Teaching Hospital, Ondo City, where he's also the Dean of the PG School. He is the President, Society for Public Health Professionals of Nigeria, and also the President, Africa Federation of Public Health Association. Professor Asuzu will be talking to us on the topic, Breaking the Iron Fortress between Veterinary and Human Medicine. Prof, you are welcome to Blue Bat Television. We are indeed eager to learn from your wealth of experience. So I can comfortably tell us to relax and listen to Prof. Prof, the floor is yours, please.
All right, thank you. Let me open. The last time we did this, the moderator said those who don't need videos to be seen should shut them off. So we have enough band to contain everybody. But when one is speaking, it's good to put their video on so we'll see the person talking. I suppose towards the end, they might want everybody to put their video on so they can take a picture of all of us who attended, so we can't deny it afterwards if we didn't do what we agreed to do. Okay, my name is Michael and my father's name is Asuzu. My laptop is going funny for projecting my slides, so I don't know whether Dr. Ibe or his team can project it from there. I'm talking from my handphone. So this is a follow-up. In November 2024, we had a first counter. And about a week or a week and a half ago, Dr. Ibe said he wants to arrest me to come and give a report back on what has happened since then. I said, as far as I know, only one good thing has happened. The others, well, 1.5, as I will explain now. He says it's all right. Let us hear it so that we can continue on the journey. We started that. That's why I titled this, the slides here, 2, because the previous one had no number on it. So it will be like Hippocrates' seminal works. When he published his second work after of air, water, and places, he called it epidemics of diseases he has seen to occur in epidemic fashion. But later, of course, he found out he didn't know all of them. He found some more. So he published Epidemics 2. And all of us who are in the health sciences, we know that Hippocrates is the father of scientific, medical, and human services. And his 3 seminal works of air, water, and places as the places from where we gather the disease we suffer. And then epidemics and epidemic 2. I sent this slide yesterday. I said, I have stopped being president of the Society for Public Health Professionals of Nigeria. Since November last year, Professor Stephen Abba who was acting vice chancellor at the University of Health Sciences at Otukpo, had become the president. And they are working hard. At least they called a meeting of board of trustees and them, which again, Tomori was there because he's been with us from the beginning. And we thought that would persuade vets that in the area of, as far as epidemiology is concerned and public health, human medicine and veterinary medicine must lead the work. I will return to that now. So when I was preparing for this discourse, I phoned Abba and asked him where they were. He said, well, they're going to write formally to Professor Tomori that in the light of Professor Lausa, who was our chairman of Board of Trustees, having died, Tomori must be the next chairman of our Board of Trustees. That is the one of the progresses, but not the main one that I'm going to share here. So the background, are anybody able to project the slides? Because my laptop is still doing, so I don't want to be the only one seeing my slides. But I will continue.
Can you take it up?
Okay, send the slide to me.
Okay, so send it to me so I can send it to her.
Oh, I sent it to you by email yesterday.
The email? No, I didn't look at it. I didn't see it.
Okay, just forward it to me, sir, when you see it.
Okay. Continue.
Let me type my email address.
So basically,
no, I'll forward it to your phone. Continue.
Okay.
Basically, the outline of our presentation will be again to complete this introduction I was already doing, to let everybody understand that this is a follow-up seminar, reporting myself on the last 1 year and 7 months that have lapsed since the first one, and to look at public health as an interdisciplinary and interprofessional enterprise since history, and some aspects of it, and then review what has happened since that last seminar, and then we discuss it. So, as an introduction, public health, I teach history of public health and medicine, and we know that the health services all started as a personal service by herbalists and midwives up till the time that it became a science by Hippocrates. But it continued like that. And all the rich men, the dukes and the emperors, took over all those who do well.
Prof,
And
the one I have is the one you sent on 2024.
No. I sent one yesterday.
No, maybe a wrong address.
Okay. You can... what do I do now? I can minimize this, get it, and send it by WhatsApp.
Yeah, send it by WhatsApp, yes.
Okay, so you will take a breath, walk around a little bit. Let me go there and do it.
Yeah, I think he has been. Kenneth, you can give a synopsis what he has done so far, so that he can send this into me. Kenneth, Prof.
Okay. Yes. Prof is trying to tell us that public health is actually one. In fact, it's moving towards one health, trying to bridge the gap between veterinary public health and human medicine. Veterinary medicine generally, not just veterinary public health and human medicine. And like he said, he was trying to give us a little history of how public health started, which of course is going to be an interesting one, because we also want to learn. We also want to know the little history. He spoke about Hippocrates. Hippocrates has been and will always be a referred individual when you talk about epidemiology, public health, and even medicine in general. because in those days when they were having kind of epidemics, they didn't know what it was. They felt it was something coming from the the heavens. Let me put it that way. You know, when there's an epidemic, people think in those days they were thinking it was, should I say, a punishment from God. They were thinking it was a punishment from God. But Hippocrates, you know, went ahead to say that no, whatever that is the problem, whatever that is causing disease in the environment is amongst the people is actually coming from air, water, and the environment. And that's actually what makes up the epidemiological triad. If you look at it very well, that's what makes up the epidemiological triad, where you have the agent, the environment, and the host. So it's just, we're just trying to follow what Hippocrates started. So all other people that came after Hippocrates were following the same principle of environment, hosts, and agents. So that's what
Yeah,
Prophet.
it has been sent to you.
I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go through it now.
All right. So I can
Continue.
take over while you are trying to project.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
People who developed their science and their art, the big guys had them. So it remained private until the epidemics that followed people traveling to cities and carrying diseases that were there to other places. And in 1374, the politicians in Venice passed the quarantine law that no ship will bat in Venice unless he obtained certificate from the port he set sail from and all ports he called in at before coming to Venice, that there was no epidemic in those places. If he didn't, they won't allow them to bat in the port of Venice because they don't want them to spread epidemics, whether we're transacting business or legal. And if they insist, they go and moor them in the mooring stations in the Mediterranean for 40 days.
To come and activate it just to be sure it's still working.
Before there
And it
was
is
no
working. And
So that is the birth
unfortunately,
of public health as a public concern. As that worked in 1392, Marseilles, as a city-state, introduced the same quarantine laws. And so, law, as they say here, other people copied it. That was the birth of public health as government-organized system to prevent disease. It wasn't from medical doctors or nurses or vets. It was from public-minded civil administrators. When it worked, they extended it to markets for decaying food and things, and then houses of illicit trade. That's the official birth of public-minded preventive health services organization. We should be grateful. And in the same way, it is being public-minded. It is being minded for the public good, the common good, that will cure our illness. What Professor Tomori calls, what did he call it? POS. He might explain it further to us today. So I was also lucky that when I started after a house job in University of Benin Teaching Hospital, I went to UTCO in the north, and they made me a medical observer. And Alajako, a simple higher health superintendent, taught me community medicine from the preventative and social medicine in the university, that it is multidisciplinary and community concerned. That I should know all the people who are important to achieve the objective of public health, that everybody should live maximally healthy. Starting with the traditional leader, the Javankpa, the divisional engineer, a thief young man, I've forgotten his name, HND, Civil Engineering, the Divisional Agricultural Officer, the Divisional Education Officer, and the Divisional Police. And then toured the whole local government to see the roads to the towns, to see the people who work there and the circumstances in which they work, so that I can be a proper medical officer of it. And in the last exercise, I explained a couple of things that happened during my youth corps that I called the attention, especially of the agricultural officer, and we dealt with them. That's how public health works. No one person does it. So when I got to know that Charles had been president of Veterinary Association, I was complaining to
Sorry,
him.
sir, please. Are you seeing my slide?
Yes, yes, we are seeing your
Okay.
slide. Can go, that's the title. Can go to the second slide.
Okay.
So it was that shared concern that he made me say, oh, I have this television outfit and I want you to talk there. So we share this concern with other people. So we did that press seminar to say that when we finished getting the Association of Community Physicians of Nigeria transformed into a Association of Public Health Physicians of Nigeria. And the guy who succeeded me, well, is a lady, Professor Obeyokoji, went to the World Federation of Public Health Associations. They say, no, you can't represent Nigeria. Only one organization is admitted to the World Federation Public Health Association. And that association must contain everybody who does public health. You have place for anybody who does public health to join, which is technically the whole world. Anybody who wants to apply his skill or knowledge or profession or discipline to public health is welcome. So go and do that. No do. The World Federation with WHO said they should create the regional branches of the World Federation. So they came to create the Africa one in Ramasukru in Cote d'Ivoire and wrote all the ministers of health in the African countries to come with their leaders of their public health association. Onyebuchichukwu took Obe Okoje to the place because that's the only public health association he knew. They got there and they told him, Obe, your association, APHPN, has been registered as what is that category they call it? It's associating member, but you can't be the representative of Nigeria. You know, you can't hold office here. We told you that. So you and your minister go home and get a public health association for everybody. That's how they came, held me in the neck, and we wrote all the public associations that I'm going to keynote address for facilitate their conference. And we agreed and formed the association we had intended in 1986 when Ransom Kuti was going about establishing local government primary care thing. We had a conference in Ibadan. And I agreed that one biostatistician, one microbiologist, and one environmental health officers, lecturers in Calabar, should go and form this Public Health Association of Nigeria, FAN, right around, because me and Kale, my boss, we are very busy trying to advance the Association of Competition. We've just been elected, so we won't have the time. That didn't work. So when they said this in 2011, and Obe Yokoji said, no, we must do this, and we think you are the one who can do it. I said the only way we can do it is to write this association so we can form a federation. So we did. Onyebuchukwu sent Dr. Nita Demusha to represent the Federal Ministry of Health. So we formed it at IFE, OAU, as a federation of that time 9 disciplinary population of associations in public health. Eventually, Dental Public Health, after 11 years, agreed to join us, even though they were told at the beginning. So it's not only us and vet, it's everybody else. the Parasitology and Public Health Association that attended the formation and followed in the constitution and the bylaws. We agreed that when you are in your association, you are doing your own. When you become a member of when we come here, you forget your original association and play here. If you try to rub your association down our throats, we will warn you and warn your association. If you do it 2 times, we warn you. 3rd time, we suspend your association from us. When you come here, you play public health, everybody. So when Professor Aisien, who was president of Parasitology and Public Health Association, went and told them at their General Assembly to register, they said no, they won't register. There are too many medical doctors there already. That they won't join. And some 3 years later, they wrote me that I was in the editorial board, advisory board of their journal. Send me 3 articles to review for them. I told them this is adding salt to injury. The first thing to do is to apologize and join the Society for Public Health Professionals. And if you want me to be in your advisory board, you phone me, you talk about it, and you can't send me 3 papers to review and say I'm on your advisory board without discussion. So they left. The society called SOSE, Society of Occupational Safety and Environmental Health, couldn't come for the inaugural meeting because Professor Moore in Zaria, who was their president then, said there was kidnapping and all kinds of things between Zaria and anywhere else. They have to travel from Zaria to Kaduna minimum before they fly to Lagos. Anyway, they couldn't come, but they were in the discourse. Eventually, they didn't join. They had a conference 2 years later in Calabar, invited me, keynote speaker. I went there. I told them, why have you not joined? You discussed the constitution and bylaw, even though you didn't attend physically. They said they didn't have money. I said, one of you should pay 50,000. You can recover it over time, or do it as a charity you can do to your association to put it among the body of people. They said, no, they can't. And as I talk to you, I tell you solemnly, Uganda is not able to pay for their membership, registration and membership of the African Federation of Public Associations. And Professor Robert Basaza has just paid yesterday in his pocket for Uganda, the whole of Uganda, in the African Federation of Public Health Associations. So these things are not imaginary. Normal people do them. But they haven't joined until I'm talking to you now. We have told the Nutrition Association, join nutrition. If you are not fed well, all the doctors in the world can't cure you until you eat well. So join, you are so important. Nutrition belongs to the primordial prevention issues. They say, no, their problem is because their society is mostly nutrition, not public health nutrition, is dietetics and clinical nutrition. That's where I say you should have a caucus now. I know some nurses who have done your nutrition. I know some public health people who have done, doctors who have done your nutrition. Have a caucus of public health nutrition and join. Up till now, they haven't joined. But as for vets, from the beginning, we have asked them to join the Society for Public Health Professionals. In order to emphasize the importance we think of it, Professor Tomori is on our advisory, on a board trustees, so that when they see it, they'll be persuaded. When we formed EPISN in 2010, we tried, the epidemiology is as multidisciplinary as public health itself. We phoned Omotara, who was doing environmental epidemiology in Meduguri. He was the first vice president of APISN, Epidemiological Society of Nigeria. Professor Idowu Cadmus, that time he was just Dr. Idowu Cadmus in Ibadan, Veterinary Public Health, was the deputy editor-in-chief of the Nigerian Journal of Epidemiology. But when Nigerian Epidemiological Association did what they did, within 1 year, that when we went to the World Congress on Epidemiology in Edinburgh, 2012, there were 94 Nigerian members there in their membership list, as compared with 6 to 10 at the most since 1984 that I was a member of the International Epidemiological Association. So they say, go and do the same thing to Africa. Africa is as bad as before, you know, as you were before. So we came, we formed the African Epidemiological Association, and they requested that the Nigerian Journal of Epidemiology becomes the African Journal of Epidemiology. So we agreed, and they took it. So they changed the editors. So we didn't have a journal, but we took the editorial board and secretariat to South Africa. They changed the editorial board. But after the 2 issues, volumes we published from Nigeria, they started staggering with publishing it. So we said, no, the Epison should start another journal, but it can't be called the Nigerian Journal of Epidemiology, because Nigerian Journal of Epidemiology is now African Journal of Epidemiology. So they now have a journal called Journal of the Epidemiological Society of Nigeria. I was asking the editor, Professor Dabo in Jos, whether any vet is on the editorial board. He said no. I said, you young people, will you ever learn anything and issue a discipline like epidemiology or an enterprise like public health? Is everybody can come, and you must reflect it, because people read meaning into everything, every action you take. So I mandated them yesterday, Dabo, they should discuss it and find vets on it. But the story that is good, the main thing that has happened since November 2024 is that Epison had his conference in Calabar 2 weeks ago. I was there. Since Shurosho, who was on the board of trustees, died, we replaced him with Professor Timothy Obi, who was a foremost epidemiologist in Ibadan. Timothy Obi died. So we are looking for a vet to replace a vet in the board of trustees of Epison. Please don't confuse APHP and public health and epidemiology. The executive of Epison completed their first term of 2 years, so they were to be replaced in Calabar. They said no, they should continue. They've done well. They should do another 1 term maximum. And 2 years' time, they'll be replaced. However, their secretary, the secretary of Epison, said she's been challenged with many responsibilities. Professor Egenti at University of Abuja, or Yakubu Gowon University, that she can't continue to be secretary. So we agreed that that's the only office to change. And they agreed that the assistant secretary, Professor Ekpenyo in Calabar, who is what do they call it? Optometrist, should become our secretary. And she has to be replaced. So they elected Dr. Funke, what's that her name? A vet, to be our assistant secretary now. So Dr. Dupe Ambolu, she's in the Federal Ministry of Livestock in Abuja, and she's a vet. So that's the advance that we had. And this was from 2 years ago. The last Epison conference was in Abuja. And I reported that the meeting we had in November, that first meeting, that so many young vets were there, and I was delighted. And I told them, oh yeah, you people play your active role here. We are there, but the executive are still trying to replace Professor Eshurosho and Obi in towns. The two names that the boys in Zaria and Kano sent, I had given it to the previous executive. They didn't replace that. Now, this one person suggested the name of somebody who became a professor in 2022. And my knowledge, what they informed me, is that they think that's too young a person. To be on the board of trustees, they think they need somebody who can talk to power. That's the kind of people like Tomori. If Tomori tells you something and he has the expertise that he can tell you a serious thing as a joke, so you don't slap him or argue with him there, you laugh at it. When you go home, it will crop up in your mind many times. If you have a conscience, you will know that that's what to do. Not all of us have that kind of gift. But anyway, somebody to be on the board of trustees should be somebody who can talk to power and explain to them, whether by the method of Professor Kale, my mentor, whose approach is educative, just to explain from history, from practice, from experience, from science. But in Nigeria, so many times people don't listen to you, they ignore you. So you might as well use the style of Professor Olu Odunton. She can deal with you properly. Say it loud, say it so everybody hears it. If you like, you can go away. We can combine those two methods, but somebody on the board of trustees should be somebody who can talk to authority. So the update that we have is that now that we have somebody on the executive of APISN, we will work. I will urge them again at APISN to find this replacement. If somebody can, if you know anybody's who are in veterinary public health and can be identified as strong in epizootiology as Shirosho called it, or epidemiology, veterinary serology, and virology, like Tomori himself. Major area of epidemiology in vet that he can be cited at the senior level to replace the two people that are there that have died. Now, coming to the Society for Public Health Professionals, they have only just taken over in November, and they were trying to do a couple of things. We haven't got the Veterinary Public Health Association. Their reason before was that they didn't have a Veterinary Public Health Association, 2011. But I think you people say there's one now. The Veterinary Public Health Association should join as a body. But the bylaw said you can join Society for Public Health Professionals of Nigeria as an individual in your own right. The last time I posted, we agreed that I should post the names of president and secretary of both APISN and the SPHPN, so that anybody who likes, as an individual, as a group, can talk with them and work out what is missing. For APISN is to have somebody on the board of trustees. For Society for Public Health Professionals, beyond Professor Tomori on the board of trustees, is to have individual or corporate membership of it from the Veterinary Public Health Association, if there's one, or caucus, so that we can be talking. The other thing I need to say before I conclude this discussion is that the source of not working together is Nigeria, no, and the people have inherited it. But and they fail to follow the principles. I think we need to discuss these matters clearly. At the last meeting, we said, if you go and check all the medical doctors, what was it? Dr. What was the name of the professor who moderated the last meeting we had? He said, to say candidly, that medical doctors are the origin of it. They are the greater culprits. All the other people, what they are doing is reactionary. I told the story of a university in the north. I used to go as a young person on research leave. There's only one physician in the Department of Community Medicine. All the others are microbiologists, biochemists, environmentalists who joined the department. So he didn't run any clinic. He didn't give any lecture confidently. But he always tells medical students, you know, all these people, before they teach you anything, they come and show it to me. I have to approve it. But he wouldn't teach anything until I visited him twice. Started running 2 clinics whenever I visited there, because some of the clinics we run are multidisciplinary. Venereal disease clinic, infectious disease internists run it, microbiologists run it, gynecologists run it, urologists may join. Public health will be there also to do the public health issues. So each of those clinics that I started running, there are other doctors who run it with me, even if I started it. Venerology clinic was being run by Dr. Kenya, an internal medicine person from the US. You know, they do infectious disease. So it's not that when I leave from my research leave, it will die. He continued with it. But then students saw that public care physicians run clinics. So he came to the class one day talking, you know this guy, before he talks to you, he comes in. They say, we have had this all the time we are here. Teach us something. Teach us something. So if you go and look at it, these medical doctors who create enmity between us and other people are the least competent of us, among us. Any good doctor wants everybody to bring what they have. That's the truth. So we shouldn't let reaction to a handful of people who are not the correct people create this enmity that we have. In the last lecture, I talked about when the Archives of Medicine of Ibadan wanted us to publish a journal that year. Their journal was going to be on One Health. Professor Tomori was the guest editor-in-chief. I was the deputy or chief editor-in-chief. And a young doctor in vet in UI was to be the editor. And the guy who was working with me in my department as a clinical epidemiologist is to be the co-editor. We arranged everything, but the guy in Ibadan, the vet public health, said, no, One Health is his property. We can't go on the way we wanted. And the journal never got published till today. And I've talked about parasitology and public health association. Say they won't join. There are already many medical doctors there. So we must find how to deal with that. I accept that the behavior of some useless, sorry my language, okay, not very competent medical doctors caused these reactions. But then people overreact to the things. Why? The hospital is a medical industry. So for somebody to be arguing the nurse should be CMD, or the pharmacist should be CMD, or laboratory technology should be CMD, is flouting principles. It is, because the pharmaceutical industry is in the manufacturing place. That's where it is. If I'm a medical doctor serving the staff of Spitland Beecham, I can't say appoint me because I'm a doctor working here, and appoint me as CEO of a drug manufacturing company, because that's a pharmaceutical industry. And I illustrated that at the last discussion. You have veterinary hospitals. You have pharmacy and pharmaceutical services there. How many pharmacists want to be the chief medical director of a a veterinary hospital. In environmental health, disease control, vector control, we have pharmacy there. In agriculture, we have pharmacy there. Which pharmacist said, let me be the director of vector control because I provide the insecticides or whatever drugs that I use? No, because that is environmental health industry. If you have a maternity center, you can hire a doctor, but a doctor who comes and says, I'm going to be the head of a maternity center, his brain is somewhere else, under his feet or in the nose or somewhere. It is just a maternity industry. A midwife is in charge of that. So those things are clear, so we shouldn't be overreacting to issues of what doctors do. The two disciplines inside public health that affects all of us equally is epidemiology on one hand and public health policy and management. But if it's a purely veterinary place and you're a medical officer of health and you have a divisional veterinary medical officer, if something is happening in the wildlife there, the veterinary medical officer will inform the medical officer of health if it's a zoonotic infection. So he keeps more eyes and advises people, but he won't go and take over from the veterinary medical officer for the district. And I think that part of the thing in the last seminar, somebody says, for all these places, we should draw up the terms of service, the functions and responsibilities. Obviously, that's important. And that is what we must do in all these things we are saying to deal with so that we can come closer together and work better. But 2 days ago, ladies and gentlemen, do you know that the center in Zaria, the tuberculosis and leprosy center in Zaria, that turned itself into an institute of public health, is working with some people. And I had a public hearing 2 days ago. They want to take over all disease control from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. And they want to pass a bill to do that. After this, I'm going to post that bill to all of you to read. Why are Nigerians wanting to create empires instead of the bigger thing? Everybody knows that the best way to do public health, technically, in a country, apart from your ministries that, deal with public health, issues with public health, having a forum where they talk. So is to create centers for disease control. And centers for disease control, we have departments to deal with specific things. That's what it should be. It's not a department that was looking, an issue that was looking after leprosy and tuberculosis alone. To then say, give us all the diseases, take it away from Center for Disease Control, so we'll be in charge of it. No. They should form themselves and become a unit of the Center for Disease Control. That's how others have done it. So the wahala there are plenty. The final thing I want to say before I stop, so you know how big it is. The people that Ransom Kuti started as auxiliary community nurses, auxiliary medical officers, they call them CHOOS, Community Health Extension Workers and Community Health Officers. In Ibadan, we trained them. It was senior environmental health officers and senior nurse midwives that we started with. The environmental officers never passed any of the exam because their background training is so narrow. It's the law. They learn no anatomy, no physiology, no biochemistry. So there's no way they can be assistant medical officers without reading anatomy, physiology, to some degree, pharmacology, pathophysiology, at little levels. So they produce standing order for them. If a person comes, you must use standing order. If you make mistake using standing order, Professor Ransom could stand shorty. That was the policy. But if you use it, then any mistake you are protected, because CHUs and CHOs can be sued to court. It's the doctor that the patient went to see, they'll be sued to court. But Ransom Kuti can be sued if CHOs and CHUs make mistake. But nobody can use standing order, because in the medical and health sciences, protocols or standing orders are done for specific emergency situations. Asthmatic attack protocol, myocardial infarction protocol, diabetic coma protocol. You don't produce a protocol for all of hypertension or for all diabetes. No. But that's what they do. And then they went there, they found you can't use it. If you use standing order, one month only, that center will close. Because if I come to you and I say I have headache, you say, hey, headache. Okay, you open the area headache. He said, does it have diarrhea also? So you open the place diarrhea. He said, do you shiver? Does it have rigor? You go to a place with figure with rigor and diarrhea. You ask. The patient will just hold his anger. If he doesn't take your book and tear it. When he goes out, tells you, don't go there. They don't know anything. Your book, everything. So when they couldn't use it, they decided to be fabricating other things. And now they say they own public health. And they created cadres that they will create for the federal government up to permanent level, whatever it is. And we say no. Public health is an enterprise. It's not a single discipline. Nobody will command public health. Veterinary public health people already have a scheme of service everywhere they work. Public health medical officers have a scheme of service. Public health nurses have a scheme of services. Pharmacists who are in public health service have a scheme of service. Structural engineers, civil engineers, economists who are they have a scheme of service already. These are public health people. So don't create one. Public health is not a profession. You go or a discipline, single discipline. But they've gone to Lagos and created past, what do they call it now? They've gazetted it that they will own the whole public health service in Lagos. And they are biting in Lagos. It shouldn't happen now. It shouldn't happen. Now they have created in the polytechnics, postgraduate diploma, postgraduate MSc, MPH, MPhil, PhD. And they say the experts in eye care, primary eye care. No physician is involved, no nurse is involved, no ophthalmologist. And that they are specialists in primary health care management. And they are specialists in reproduction and birth science. No midwife, no obstetrician. That's what they are spreading all over Nigeria. So that's overreaction. But just to give you how wide the issues are. But I think that if vets and human physicians, and especially nurses, they are the only ones whose studies of health do physiology, they do anatomy and physiology and biochemistry and microbiology, all the pathologies, including histopathology. And then they do some pharmacology. Before they deal with the clinical issues, they are the only ones, the only three professions that are broadly trained in public health. And if these three professions in Nigeria don't rise up for public health, on the last day, I'm going to get to heaven before many of you. When you are coming, I say, God, send the archangel, look at one of them is coming. Happily, this year's SPHPN conference in Abuja is in August, and it's being run back to back with the nurses. The PAFNON, Public Professional Association of Public Health Nursing Officers of Nigeria, is running the conference with SPHPN. That's how we have run. Every conference will be held with one of our affiliate organizations. The first two were held back to back with the Association of Public Health Physicians. The second one was held with a quasi branch of SPHP in Nigeria, because we hosted the second Congress of the African Association of Public Health Association. The fourth one was held in Abakaliki by a quasi branch that hasn't survived. The fourth one was hosted by Society for Adolescent and Child Health of Nigeria, SIFEN, in Lagos 3 years ago. This year is going to be backpedaled by public health nurses and the rest of us. So if public health, veterinary public health joins us, they should be able to host one of our conferences next, back to back with theirs, or together. That's how we work, so we can teach ourselves to work together. I think I've spoken enough. I said all the things. One complaint I have is all these people working at Abuja can tell us what they are saying there. But if it doesn't get to the community, it will be just sharing money and writing paper and going home. They won't have it. I'm not aware that in the past, I knew some people who said they were veterinary public health officers in local governments or covering local governments, whether they're there or not. I don't know whether you still do it. Currently in Nigeria, only the southwestern states and Delta and Edo have medical officers of health for every local government. In the East, they have something they call district medical officers, but they are not quite the same thing. There are no laws in that regard. In the North, the CHOs and CHUs have taken over the arena, and they have nothing like that except Federal Capital Territory. So, organizationally, we must see how our services reach the grassroots, and we must meet there. It doesn't matter what they do at the national level. That is good, though. We should cooperate with it. But if it happens there, but it doesn't get to the where people live and work, it won't work very much. I am done. Thank you. So we can discuss or ask questions if I said anything that requires question.
Thank you very much, Prof. This was, should I say, this is very insightful. I'm sure so many of us have questions. We want some clarifications on some certain things, some certain issues. Prof, you is an eye opener, to those of us in veterinary public health. Unfortunately, I was not here the last session, but I'm sure so many people have keyed in one of those associations, because I know in veterinary public health we have a lot of heavyweights. Even the replacements you were talking about, I'm sure we have a lot of heavyweights to replace those people that we have lost. But for now, I would like us to ask our questions, please. If you have any questions, just
Prof, can I please ask Professor Tomori to give us a pep talk?
Okay, yes, I
based
had
on
that.
what he said, so that
yes,
whether
Professor
they're on the same
Tomori,
page or whether they're on the same chapter.
yes, Prof, please. I know you are one of the big people in public health and in this society. Prof, please, can you just give us one or two or more insights on this? Professor Tomori, please.
Thank you very much. I talked for a short time because I have to jump to another program at 11:15. But let me again thank my brother for he's been consistent in his saying. The issue of One Health, I think for all of us to know, is that issue of One Health, that there are different sections and there are different experts. No one, like he said, has expertise over everything. So what One Health does is that you bring your expertise, I bring my expertise, we work together. We are building a house. You won't give your plumber to go and do your to go and fix your electricity. You will not get the man who is making your roof to lay the tiling on your floor. So each person has his own expertise. Let's bring all these together to build the house that we want. A very good example, see what is happening about Ebola right now in DR Congo. This is a country that has 16 episodes of Ebola. And they have a 17 which they are doing as if they never had before, just like we're doing with Lassa in Nigeria. Because we're not bringing in all the expertise each of us has to build together. Everybody or whoever you own, you think you are the one who knows. Take the issue of veterinary public health. For me, as a public health, if I'm a veterinary public health, I know my limit. I'm dealing with the the animal diseases, the zoonotic diseases. How do they transmit? How do you get it? The physician who's in public health knows about the human side. And we bring all this knowledge together to excel. There's no way the public health man in human side can be dealing with the issue of the transmission of disease in animals. Nor can the guy in the animal come and be talking about transmission of disease in the human side. So One Health calls on us to bring out our expertise and use that for the good of everybody. And that's what the messages that have been going on. Each time we try to override and say this thing. And you know what? If you excel in your area, you don't need any other thing anymore, accolade. Me, for example, you take the whole of virology. We have 1,001 viruses. I can't be expert on 1,000 viruses. Early in life, I chose the one where I'm going to be expert using. So when in fact, there's not enough time to even answer the questions on those ones. So why are we all scattering ourselves in different directions? So carve a niche for yourself, which is where your training puts you. Be an expert in that area. Then we can call upon you. So that, look, this area, how do we come together? The issue of even communication is something, because none of us, we don't even know how to talk to each other. We don't even know how to talk to the community. So even those who are not even related to us, but the society is the human being is the core of all that we are doing in public health. That individual person, that community, that citizen that getting the disease. How do we bring our expertise to make sure, again, I do the allusion about the housing. You build a house, you look at it, it's not just a carpenter that finishes the house. It's not just an electrical person. It's not just a plumber. Each of them have brought the best of their ability to make that house what it is. And that's what we should all begin to think of. So in your different position where you are, remember, you are a plumber, I'm an electrician, you are this. Bring that best together so that we can make the best for our people. And who is suffering? First of all, we are suffering professionally, but the people who are really suffering are the people we say we are serving. And if we put that at the back of our mind, that the core of our teaching is for the public, then we will begin to say, look, I'm putting my in, you put your in, and we all work it, and we all get the praise for it. But as we are doing, see what is happening in DR Congo. The whole place is in Katata. Doctors are dying like anybody said. This is system. The last case we had about 70-something health workers have been infected. 17 of them have died because the lab people did not do the diagnosis on time. The people who should contact us are not doing their. So you can see how important all this is. When you do what you do in your own area, bring your expertise, and then we all succeed. Let me quickly stop there because, as I said, I have to run away to another place. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you very much. We will bring you back, Prof, for Ebola. You know, the other time you spoke on monkeypox.
Monkeypox, yes.
Yes, we'll bring you back on Ebola. Just rest assured that we'll continue to tap into your knowledge.
No problem, my brother. We are here
teach-
together for the good
Teach
of
some
everybody.
of us, like Ekene Ezendoka, how to become a vice chancellor.
That's
Amen.
not part of my veterinary training.
Thank you very much. Okay, Kenny,
My pleasure,
continue.
brother.
Please, as
Brother,
you're taking leave, we are saying, yeah, what I would say, we're wishing you well, Prof. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. God bless all of you.
Amen.
Bless you too, sir. Thank you very much.
Right then. Bye now.
So we are back on. I'm sure we have questions for Professor Asuzu. Please, if you have any question, just a raise of hand will do.
Or comments, actually, or comments.
Or comments, yeah, because comments are...
On another note, we have Professor Ben Emipe here. who is the Dean, Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Kumasi, Ghana. I visited him once, though he was not around when I visited him in his office in Ghana. We have Professor Ike Chukwu Igbokwe of University of Maiduguri. They are all here. So, and then our Professor Tomori, who has just gave us a pep talk. Okay, continue.
So I'm not seeing any hands raised.
But you can call Professor Ike Chukwu Igbokwe if you have something to say.
Professor Bokwe?
Okay, Mipe is raising his hand, but after
who is raising his hand?
Mipe, but let Igbokwe speak after him. Mipe.
Okay, Professor Bokwe, please.
Thank you very much. I don't have much to say except to thank Professor Asuzu for a well-delivered speech. I'll talk. I would have wanted to hear more from Professor Tomoru, who is in the house. His comments will be very appropriate for this time. I don't have any question for Professor Asuzu, except to encourage him to continue advocating for the unity of all the professions in tackling the problems of Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay.
Please, can I remove the share? Remove the screen.
Okay.
So, yeah, we can be more robust. Okay, that's okay. Okay, continue. Thank you, Prof. Ibokwe, my Oga, my senior UNA. Thank you. Who again?
Okay, thank you, Professor Ibokwe. You said Professor Emipe was raising his hand?
Yes, Professor Emipe, yes.
Professor Emipe, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you so much, Professor Asuzu. I want to sincerely appreciate this medium that brings out people, especially very experienced and in this area. Prof, I want to sincerely thank you for your integrity and your consistent stand on the need for all of us to work together. I just wanted to buttress this point. I'm a pathologist by training, and I was trained by Professor Akpavie. I work on pulmonology. But today, I'm known for One Health because faith brought 5 of us together, one in public health, one in preventive medicine or epidemiology. Another person, a parasitologist and a virologist and eye pathologist, to work on One Health and look at pandemic prevention in West Africa. That has brought us out, and that has given us a new niche that took us throughout West Africa, and that was one of the reasons why I found myself in Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Ghana. I believe strongly that this is an aspect we must all see. Professor Somori actually summed it up. Be good in your area, but come to the center, which is One Health. Come to the center where you will be able to use what you have gotten, no matter where you are, either communication, either sociology, either pathology, either medicine, to come and display these in working together in those interfaces to protect the health of humans living in this ecosystem. The earlier we tend to understand this, the better, because we cannot we have worked so much in different silos, and it has benefited no one. It is high time we come together and drop this syndrome of knowing all and tap from resources that are available, work together and save the planet. If we look at the issues of the planet today, climate change, yes. Talk about pandemic outbreaks. Look at what they are suffering in Congo and all that. And we will say we are brilliant, we are sharp, we are sound. We know so much, and yet we have done so little. Professor Asuzu, I want to thank you. This is what you have been singing when I was a student in University of Ibadan. Even when I became a professor in University of Ibadan, this has always been your move. I have come on out to Ghana. I have seen that this is what will benefit the world. I want to thank you for your consistency. And I want to enjoin every youth, every young ones, either pathologist, medicine, wherever field you are. I tell you, the world has so much to contend with. And the earlier we come together and work collaboratively to solve the problem, the better. I want to thank Dr. Ibe for being consistent in this, bringing world-class people who have depth of experience to come and talk to us. This is something that we need at this time. I just felt somehow when I didn't see many youth, many younger ones that have come to listen. They should have come to listen to this depth and see the power of consistency, the power of history that will change our nation. And I hope this is being recorded and this will be sent across to as many that want to listen, to have a change of heart, to know that the time and season where medicine is the only profession that can save the world is past. We are now moving into data science. Nobody ever knew that statistics will be as good as what it is today. So let us know that everybody has a season and we must learn to work together and respect each other. No matter who leads, or what we are clamoring for is to make sure that the world is a better place for us to live. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Nipe. As I was going through the charts, somebody made a comment, Dr. Cheluk, I don't know whether you're still here. You made a comment, you said Association of Public Health Veterinarians is very much active. Please, can you just give us an insight on that? Because Professor Asuzu made mention of that association. Just a little insight on that. Let us know how active the association is. Are you there, Cheluka?
Do you know her or him?
Yeah, I think it's Dr. Solomon Cheluka, if I remember. He's a young vet, a very
You know
active
him?
at that, yes.
Oh,
Okay, then.
Professor Mibe needs to go.
Good evening. Good morning. Good morning.
Okay,
Good
okay.
morning.
Solomon, is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
you? Please, you
Yes, ma'am.
said the association is very much active. Can you just give us one or two insights on that? Because so many of us don't know about this association. So just give us a little bit of information on that.
Yes, I'm actually a member of the Association of Public Health Veterinarian of Nigeria, and we have a very vibrant member of the group. In short, I'm in their WhatsApp group now. Some of our members are Professor Caleb Kudi, Dr. Memuna Habib, and one of the admin also is Edith Nwokike. So we are actually active, and also the association do meet during all NVMA program. So that has been what we have been doing for now. So I'm just a member, and the association is actually active. It's also registered because the registration can also be seen on the WhatsApp group, because that was what we used to do our logo.
Let me warn hypercritically here. If you try to anchor for all these sub associations on any dimension, on any direction, if you want to anchor it in veterinary conferences, you will fail woefully. Because there are a lot of activities lined up during that period. A lot of science, what do you call it? A lot of science topics, well-researched topics in those conferences, which are being discussed. in their various quanta. So if you do it, we tried it with World Veterinary Poultry Association by Adene in 1992 at 1991 in Port Harcourt conference. It failed woefully. After that, everybody would disperse. So you need like what Savan is doing in that approach, what Aruvin is doing in that approach, is what the other associations should copy. And then I think the equine practitioners have copied that, whereby they have their own separate time and period to discuss. But if you want to do it the way you want to do it, Chielo, I am sorry, from my experience, actually, you might work, but from my experience, it's doubtful. So you should try to align yourself in order time to be able to bring out your place yourself. If you are coming for the national conference, it's for mild briefing, and not to be yearly affair. Every conference you come together, you see, if you really want to have a good association, bring your time, bring out your money, bring out all you have, and not to start squeezing yourself to be what I call it a niche on another broader association. It will not work because there are a lot of things. If you see the last 3, 4, 5 meetings we had, we've not had even time to have dinner. At times we finish our dinner by 3 a.m. because the AGM will take up a lot of space. The scientific session, now I remember, we took a lot of space and time. Which time do you have? So that's our problem. So please try to bring out your time for this public health issue, because the world is going wide and wild on it. There's a lot of things coming up. Diseases are, let me just say, as far as we have this culture, the culture we have now, and the antecedents we have now, and attributes we have now, diseases are bound to emerge, to reemerge, to overemerge. And when you are talking about human diseases, animal diseases, zoonosis, you are dealing with public health. So please, let all you consider, and from what Professor Asuzu is saying, there's a lot of things flying about that you must key in. If you make yourself a silo, don't ever. You see, the social discussions and dynamics of profession in Nigeria be all and end all. I want to be this, I want to annex this, I want to capture this. I know is there in Nigeria. But all those social settings and trappings, if we come together, we ask ourselves some basic questions, we might get answers, and we might get the ways forward. I know what we fought in NAFDAC when the pharmacist wants to capture everything. But as God will have it, we have overseas directorate now on a different areas, bringing bringing quality things on the table. I went to see the VMAP director. I was asking a pharmacist, now this VMAP is here. All those fears you people are laid that the vet doctors will come and destroy this place, is it happening? He said, no. Are you not a pharmacist saying this? Have we fought you? We can only fight you if you are going the other way, which we don't want. But if you are doing the right thing, why should we fight you? Because you're a pharmacist. Things are not done that way. NAFDAC was created for pharmacists to capture everything. Meanwhile, it's a multidisciplinary agency. But we said no. It took us hell to fight and get that VMAP. That is Veterinary Medical Directorate of Veterinary Medicine and Allied Products in NAFDAC. Why? Why do we hate ourselves? And meanwhile, the problems are unsolved. The problems are erupting. The same thing with animal scientists now. The thing is, I always say this. When we were in UNN, we were being passed out. The Anglican Church, they were passing us out. We were in that theater. They were bringing a lot of drinks. We were hiding. At the end of the day, we were forced to bring those drinks out because it was over enough. And that's what we should try to create. Let's create an environment of over enough so that everybody will have his own peace. I rest my case. Thank you very much. Can I continue from where I
Thank you
stopped?
very much, sir. Thank you very much for that advice you have given us as well as Cheloka. So for now, I don't think we have any other person that wants to comment. Yes, because you had this program some time ago, and so I'm sure people asked a lot of questions and people were clarified. So I don't think we have much for now. I've gone through the participants, nobody's raising his or her
No.
hand.
Yeah. Professor Kenneth, please, let's ask Professor Asuzu. We'll continue to have his breaking barriers 1, breaking barriers 2, 3, 4, 5. What have we achieved in between the last one and now? That is breaking the barriers 1 and breaking the barriers 2. Have we achieved anything? Have we achieved much?
Yes,
I have
Professor.
said, I have said so in my talk, but
Mm-hmm.
let me talk to Eloka. Please, Dr. Ibe, get my phone number and the one of Eloka, exchange it so I can engage them.
Eloka, please, I don't have your number. Can you send your number to me?
Or to their blue bat place, whatever.
Okay,
Yes.
sir.
Are you part of our platform? 3 platforms. Bluebird platform.
Not yet.
Not yet. So who do you know you
Yes.
can send your number or hand it over to me?
I can send it to you now, even on the call.
Yes,
Okay.
he can send it. I have his
Okay.
number as well, but he can send it.
Okay, you have his number.
Yes.
Can
Yes,
can
sir,
I
I
send
have his
it?
number.
Can I send the number to me? Don't worry.
Okay.
So I can send it to Professor Asuzu. We need to break this. I am a doctor, I'm a vet doctor 10 in silos and quantas. It can't help us. We need to be collineal. We need to cohere. That's the import of all these discussions and conversations.
Yeah, okay. Just on what you said last, Dr. Ibe, when NMA has a conference, there's no need going to have Association of Nephrologists or Cardiologists or Public Health Physicians or Physiologists, or there will be no place there. It's so large. But I mean, of course, you can call a side meeting to talk to yourself about anything, any subspecialty or specialty that wants to advance their specialty on its own have to have a proper association. Even for us, public health physicians, you have to pass all the 14 disciplines or subspecialties that come to public health, and then advance your essential clinical medicine and surgery as primary health care to pass part 1 exam, not to talk part 2. So usually we have caucuses within APHPN, but you can't go and be having caucus meeting there, except he sets out, which he does occasionally when we have our annual congress, one afternoon when you can have breakout sessions of subspecialty. Even public health physicians, not to talk about NMA, nobody goes to NMA to talk about the specialty. So that's what my brother is saying. But you need to get a veterinary public health association organized properly on its own. And I will discuss that with you. What has happened since November 2024 and now, as I've said, is that on the epidemiology side, we have elected an assistant secretary who is a vet, who is working in the Federal Ministry of Livestock, that's what it's called, at Calabar. But we haven't replaced the member of Board of Trustees there, which I'm going to sort out with you. They said the reason is that the 2 names that Antivio, that the guys in Zaria and Kano has sent me and I forwarded to them, the executive I forwarded it have lapsed and they can't find the records. my Yahoo email address has crashed. I can't find those records. So the name that was suggested to them just became a professor in 2022. And I think that's too young a person. That person can be in the executive driving the association, but not on the board of trustees. We need a more senior person. So that's the progress we have made on Epison. We now have a member of executive. But their journal, we had a deputy editor before the African took it. We haven't had anybody on the editorial board of the Nigerian Journal of Epidemiology. And I talked to Professor Dabo 2 days ago that they didn't catch the culture at our setup because the journal went to Africa first before we decided to create this new journal. That's what they must do at the shortest possible time. Now, for the Society for Public Health Professionals, I said that that's only a half news there, that the executive had told me Professor Tomori is going to become a chairman of our board of trustees. They're going to write me a formal letter in the next few days. But they have met with us a month ago. They met with the board of trustees. So, but we have nobody on our journal, the Nigerian Journal of Public Health. We have no corporate membership. I don't know of any individual in public health who has joined in his own account, the Society for Public Health Professionals. So the only thing we have there is that Professor Tomori has been there from the beginning. And in this meeting, he has text that he will engage the veterinary public health people to see what they can do there, to join. But they can join individual. That's why I say, send me the phone number of, what is his name? Eloka. So we can talk. They can join as individuals. But if they get the Veterinary Public Health Association to join as a corporate group, that would be fantastic. And then we can be talking. And our journal, when they join, their president and secretary will be on the expanded executive. And they can help us sort out somebody who can join the editorial board of the Nigerian Journal of Public Health. Okay, that's it. I mentioned some of this during my talk, but this is a summary of it. Thank you, and over.
Yeah, thank you. I think our time is fast spent. Do we have any other thing so that we'll take a leave? We are trying to get 3 commissioners to be on this platform. The Commissioner for Agriculture for Lagos State, the Commissioner for Livestock in Imo State, and Commissioner for Livestock in Plateau State. Apparently, the 2 commissioners from Plateau and Imo are our colleagues, but the one in Lagos is abroad. They don't have livestock, actually. What they have is agriculture. We want to be bringing more quality people until when we get probably the governor or somebody high up and our government machinery to be able to address some of these issues. Because we guess that some of the problem we have in this country is out of knowledge. People are not having the knowledge. So now we are trying to fight as much as possible to push our knowledge into some corridors of power and see how we can advise them or they can advise us in those cognitive order. So on that strength, if we don't have anything to say, I thank those who are here. Sorry, Eugene Chukwu is our regular customer. Chagwa is our old to regular customer. Professor Ike Chukwu is our customer. Peter Sajie, former permanent secretary in the Edo State government, is always our customer. And I've seen Professor Adeyeye Sokoto. In fact, Professor Junaidi Sokoto is in transit. The person that moderated the last one. If not, he would have been here to be a co-moderator. Chiloka is raising his hand. Okay, Chiloka, if I can talk it before we round up.
Yes, sir. So I dropped the message in your blue bat mailbox. I also dropped the number of the president, Dr. Garba.
Drop it with Kene. Drop them with Ekene. Oh, 2. Hello?
Okay, sir.
Drop it with Kene. All the numbers you need. Drop it Kene so I can send them to Asuzu. Please, I am a poultry veterinarian stroke trader. So many of these might not be making good sense to me. So, but we want to be a courier or a vector to some inner workings in most of these areas. You know, I can't be jack of all trade. Please, I'm here. What we'll do is we pick information and throw it to where it deserves. And so that's all.
Dr. Ibe, we have somebody in our midst. Professor Jonathan is the editor-in-chief of Journal of Epidemiological Society of Nigeria. I don't know whether he's still here. I just saw his chat now.
Okay. So please. Then I think Professor Mike wants to say something. He's raising his hand. So
go ahead, Professor Mike. Go ahead.
Professor Asuzu, go ahead before. How about the person you spoke about?
Yes, Professor Jonathan.
Yes,
Professor
I'm
Jonathan,
here.
are you still here? Okay,
Jonathan is
yeah.
here. Jonathan, that boy is here.
Okay, Jonathan, please speak before Professor Asuzu. Oh.
Okay. Good morning, all.
Thank you.
My name is Jonathan Dabor from University of Jos.
Okay.
Like I posted on the post, I'm the editor-in-chief of the Journal of the Epidemiological Society of Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah, Prof. Asuzu called me yesterday. We spoke on what he has mentioned, the need to expand the editorial board to include other stakeholders, including the boards. I mean the vets. So I think we'll set the machinery in place going forward.
Okay.
We'll be happy to have the vets on board so that we can expand the scope of what we do.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Please continue to be here whenever we are bringing. We need to have your contact. It looks like you're not a vet, sir.
No, I'm a public health physician.
Okay, good. We need to be bringing you here because, like you have seen, we are bringing Professor Tomori to discuss Ebola.
Okay.
As it is now, the current status of Ebola.
I'll be happy to attend.
Please. So, through Professor Asuzu, maybe we'll be getting in touch with you. So that we'll be sending you anytime we have an issue, topics on public health, we'll bring you in.
It's okay.
And then based on that, and we want you to have a link with our colleagues in public health for collaborations. Well,
yeah.
So
we are actually collaborating a lot with the vets in Jos, particularly the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine at the University of Jos.
Yes, but that's not enough.
Yeah, it's okay.
Our idea here, to be frank with you, because we've seen we have 6 geographical zones, political epicenters in every affairs of us. That there is no, I don't think there's much collaboration. I want to see somebody in Sokoto researching with somebody at Nsukka, Mudike, Jos, Port Harcourt, anywhere in the country. Because you see, what we have always seen in most of the research topics I have seen, it is this Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, Jos, Faculty of this name, Jos, maybe the nearest ABU. No, we cannot get across the board. But in some of the research topics I've seen in the internet, I will see somebody in Japan researching with somebody in America, researching with somebody in Nigeria to bring out a topic. Because we have areas of our, I'll call it idiosyncrasy. Sorry for the pharmacologist here. So we need to break. That is what we are talking about cutting the iron bars. The world has gone beyond geographical sectionalism to world affair, using IT tools, modern technology. That's why technology is bridging all gaps. There's no more time difference. There's no more geographical difference. There's no sexual difference. Whoever you can do. And I always say this. Let me just be very frank. The little meetings I've had internationally, and I have seen people grouping together. I've seen people research topics. I've people asking questions, and people will come today. What can we do together? At you can't do it at local. You cannot work at local fray, but at international fray, you see people. I remember one in Egypt I attended in, I think in 2002. After asking some questions, somebody from South Africa, Shawan Bishop, came to me and said, what can we do together? Unfortunately for him, he was disappointed. I am a trader. For asking one question. The same thing in Denver, Colorado. I'm talking about World Veterinary Poultry Association conferences. We need to be attending world conferences, and then so we can glue ourselves with international teams. You cannot glue with them with email alone or WhatsApp alone, somebody that doesn't know you. But when you go to such conferences, your comments, your attitude, your attributes, your contributions will attract some research people to you. So that's what we are talking about. You might, from the one, and I have said it, if they can accept your abstract, that is free transport for you, free accommodation for you. So I don't know, Professor Mike, am I wrong, sir?
If you are young.
Am I wrong? Wrong.
If you are young, that will be true. I remember in 1995, one of my proteges who had just finished fellowship, I printed the IEA form and signed the endorsement. You filled it and joined IEA. I said, send the first abstract from your work for the World Congress in Epidemiology in Nagoya, Japan. He did. I said, apply for scholarship. He did. And they gave him visa processing fees, return tickets, conference fee, per diem for 5 days we were in Nagoya. I applied. I'm a co-author for the paper. I would have been accepted because I'm supervisor. They said I don't qualify. I'm not a young epidemiologist. I have received fellowship many times. They will only give me a ticket. So I can source the rest. So it depends on how senior you are. There's emphasis on young epidemiologists. This coming July 19th to 25th, I'll be in Abuja. We'll be training young epidemiologists under WHO. I mean, under IEA. So, yes, you will get fellowship full if you are young. If you are older, you may not get any at all. You get partial. That's the point I want to make.
Prof, many people you are seeing here are young. They are very, very young.
So let them do, please. Currently, you know, we are hosting the World Congress on Public Health in South Africa, 6th to 9th of September. We have told people to, even though the abstracts are closed, we tell people when you hear this, send abstracts. We are hosting the African Epidemiological Association in Ghana, and in October. The abstract is still open. We told people, send abstract. If they're acceptable, we might look for funds, but the African Epidemiological Association is less likely to find funds. The World Congress had agreed, if there are any people who have sent accepted abstracts, they should follow up. We might be able to find scholarship for them. So that's what to do. If you are young, please, these are the things you get now. Can you imagine getting money for your visa process, return ticket, flight to Japan, per diem for 5 days, and conference fees paid for you? I mean, fantastic. So that's the kind of thing to do. Start young, please, and start putting your names there. So, we'll be proud. To do, you might become the next world president. The current world president of epidemiology is a Nigerian who had done so from youth. So that's what you get when you start young. Don't wait until you grow old. Over.
So, Professor Kenen Ezendoka, you are hearing this live and direct. Yeah?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good. You see, one thing about us as individuals, and the world has gone beyond that. is people working or people being personocentric. They will have information. They believe when they release information, the opportunity for them to get it might not be there. So they will hold this information, hide information, stay in the cupboard, stay in the silo. You cannot be, and I will always say it, you cannot have an outdoor blessing by being an indoor person. It's not possible. You need around the world today is revolving around meeting people, holding up the people. Call it web. People working in web and not people working in person. It doesn't work. It can't work. Of the world of today. The world of today are breaking disciplines. That's why you're talking about World Health. 20 years ago, who has ever heard that the world will have one health? Never, ever. But now, because of the tools in place, digital tools in place, the world is coming together. It's not me anymore. It is we. The world has gone beyond me to we. And that's why the opportunity, the carving out opportunities are coming for us to bring up topics like this for public discussion so that people will know the direction where the world is going. It's not about staying at Nsoka and be eating up Awawa.
My sweets.
And then and up wine from Udi and think that you are satisfied. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Whether it is sweet or not, there are things sweeter out there. Even if you are going for such conference, you can pack up Awawa and box them together and travel with them. But that's not the issue. Staying in one place cannot give you a lenient drive for you to achieve a lot of things. We need to move around. You need to think around.
Yes, sir.
That is it. You need to move around. You need to think around. You need to break barriers.
Very important.
And we are not happy that we are still having iron brass barrier between veterinary medicine and medicine, whereby for 10 years ago, the world has been talking about One Health. And we're still discussing this topic. We should have gone beyond this topic. The topic we should have been discussing now, what are the opportunities of the One Health? The opportunities we have been getting because of One Health, but because we have not gotten to the right atmosphere and composture of One Health, that's why we are even thinking about how we can break these barriers. So that's it.
Yes.
So I think we have done well. Can we move forward and then close up this session?
Yeah, I think so too. I think we have spent some time.
Collect from Chieloka, collect his numbers and numbers of people. So
Yeah, I've done that. I forwarded them to you.
Okay, that's
already.
no problem.
So
that's no problem.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Professor Asuzu, for opening our eyes. You keep opening our eyes and you keep trying to bridge the gap between veterinary medicine and human medicine. Thank you very much for that.
So,
yes, once we get a vet on the board of trustees of Epison and get a member in the executive on the editorial board and get somebody on the executive at SPHPN, my work would have been completed. That's why I'm going to follow Oseloka, whatever his name is. And Tomori will follow them also. Once
exactly.
we are
I will even send some names to Professor Tomori as well.
And Jonathan Jabua finished with I will go and rest and wait for the judgment day.
Yeah. Thank you, Prof. Dr. Ekene Zenduk, sorry, Professor Ekene Zenduk. I hope you are not jealous in me for having Professor Mike Asuzu, quality in Professor Mike Asuzu. That's how, you know, I mentioned late Professor Timobi. That's the quality of people we have in Okeja.
Yes, I can see that.
A town we are so proud of. You can see the quality of people. Imagine from our space. Imagine, don't mind me. I was talking about we eat apple nkoro. Prof, am I lying? Prof.
Morning, afternoon, and night.
Oh,
But
Okija
the
will
older
tell
you
you.
grow, you eat it all the time.
Okija
Younger
will tell
people
you.
eat it only at night.
Good. Okija will tell you akpụ nkọrọ dem osisi mere ebere buru nni. That is cassava. Thank you. You have the sympathy of giving us food. That's Okija for you.
Oh,
Thank
okay,
you.
all
Thank
right.
you. So I think we can shut that from now so that we
Yes,
can
yes,
allow
yes.
older people like me to go and rest for the day.
All
And
right.
those who are going for parties will go and party and forget their sorrow.
Okay. Bye, everyone.